Hi guys, Showmofo here. I'm at Insomnia 58 and I have found, yes, the Robocraft team. It's a FreeJam. Check it out. We've got a Drog. It's Drognin. It's Drognin. Hello.
It's me.
Hello, and who else have we got with us?
For a real life version. We have Susie, who programmed the CRF. We have Nick, who was QA. There's actually a photo of you
from the... I spent 6 months QA and now I'm doing a lot of the UI for the new social stuff.
Indeed. And then we've got Phil, who's our producer. He's the one.
Great producer.
Whenever we delay stuff, it's because of him.
And you've also got Max as well, if you want to drag him into this.
Who's just
Hello, Max.
Who's our new server programmer. If anything happens on the forums with like upgrading our forums, it's because of him.
Yeah, this is the face.
Okay, so what was it called? The cooldown event. It's suddenly gone out of my head.
Temporal Chaos. Temporal Rift, sorry.
Famous people. It's gone out of my head. Temporal Rift. Had you watched my Gone video and then just decided to rip that off entirely?
So, alright, like, the event itself changed a fair bit. Were you a part of the testing?
Are you aware actually of that video that I made with Gone zipping ground?
A lot. So the original concept of the video was of the event, when it was called Temporal Chaos, was that it was actually 5-second cooldown on all of the modules instead of 50% reduction, and double mana regen, power regen. We have to call them that mana, and then we tested it, and literally no one in the office other than me enjoyed it. I actually have some video footage that I intend to put on stream at some point because it's really fun. And then we ended up with the more chill Temporal Rift, which was quite a fun event.
It could be worse. Do you remember when the Blink module was new? We had the Blink module with 0-second cooldown and no energy. It cost like 1 point of energy. So we were just warping constantly.
This was when we were testing it, right?
Yeah, it was while it was still
we were
very much in development, so you didn't want the minute and a half cooldown or whatever.
It was to see if you could crash it by slamming.
Pretty much, yeah.
Do you mind if I swear on your channel?
I'm not sure, sir. I am not sure. I mean, I've got to respect FreeJam, but...
I tend to swear like a trooper, but I literally keep it all down for streams and forums.
Yeah, so you should hear me when I'm at the docks, sir. So, are we going to see more of these kind of events with boosted stats?
Yeah, definitely. The one that I mean, so this was one that I pitched. We've got another one in there, which we were going to do a while back, and then we realised that it was for a small event, so we'll kind of save it. So we've got another one planned. There is, I'm trying to desperately sell the no speed limit event. Yeah. Like it's a tough sell, but if we can get that going, and we can have UWDs flying around.
I really enjoyed on the Rift event. The speed took, certainly I didn't play much BA, but the TDM took it to a level that I was thinking it's back to competitive fighting action and keyboard management and stuff.
Basically, with the modules, like I said, with the Temporal Chaos before it was Rift, the more you drop cooldowns for things and the more you increase mana regen, the more hectic things got. What happened was that both the skill ceiling and the skill floor both raised at the same time, which is annoying because it means that you can't really run that event because all the people who are joining the game new during that period, where the skill is higher, won't get into the game. They'll probably drop out. But, oh my god, it was fun. So I had, because you had DSM on a 5-second cooldown, it meant that you had a 66% uptime, because it was 10 seconds up, 5 seconds down, which meant that you had 2 active at any one time. And I was running Snippet, my little rocket sled rail with DSM every 10 seconds. Well, sorry, 5 seconds. It was one of the most brilliant experiences. And again, it's like you said, like it feels like a completely different game. The feedback we got in the office, basically, it felt like you were playing Quake. Yeah, which was awesome.
It was a lot more intense first-person shooter.
Yeah.
A quick question: why do you hate the aerofoils?
Why do you hate aerofoils? Man, we don't hate them. Like, we've buffed the heck out of them.
I think what you
need... We gave them extra connection slots. We doubled their health.
Here we go. Right, PSK came out.
Yep.
Right, that killed it. That was the update that killed it. The aerofoil, my flyers, right? You've promised me since year 1, probably about 6 months. He didn't even know I was a YouTuber. I was a mod, chatting with him, and he didn't know I was on YouTube's. And I love the flyers. I just love building flyers, flying them, stick vapor trails on that.
Yep.
Amazing, right? And they've had patches where viable, not viable, viable, not viable, viable, not viable.
Yep.
So I've always kind of, when something's happened, to change it, rather than deleting it in frustration,
No,
I've just kind of left it there.
If you have the
maybe had a little
components, definitely keep it.
tinker, maybe had a tinker. Sometimes I've just gone, right, now I call this vintage.
Yeah.
It doesn't work anymore, but I like it.
You have a lot of filled garage slots if you kept every vintage robot.
Yeah. Now, the update before PSK, you buffed aerofoils and you gave them enhanced speed and agility.
Yep.
Right? They were amazing, amazing. You were introducing all of this anti-air, and yet they were able to handle the game because they had the maneuverability. And then, oh, what is your name? What is your name? You pesterer of my channel. I'll think of it. I'll think of it. I've probably put it in here somewhere. Somebody who haunts my... Anthony Mercer, you fiend. And Gromek, I believe.
Who's that?
Is it? I don't know. See the topless guy with the metal?
Oh,
Am I thinking of somebody else?
Yeah, I think that's Gromek, right? Gromek 999, the topless guy of metal.
Yes.
Streams every day.
That would be correct. They and maybe a few other people cried that their flyers were losing agility.
Yep.
And you fell for it and nerfed them at a time when we had so much AA.
Wait,
and
nerfed aerofoils?
Yeah, you rebalanced the aerofoils because people complained they were too twitchy.
So, yeah, oh, you're talking about the update where you would press left for half a second, it would go like that?
No,
Or are you talking about the time where we made it so that they could survive with wings being shot off?
Before PSK came out, I'm not sure what they were talking about small flyers, and I saw one video, right? And basically you could hear him mashing the keys. And I was thinking, if you lay off mashing the keys, that will fly fine, right? And I had flyers that were dinky tiny little things up to big massive things, and they all flew beautifully. Didn't see any problem with it at all. Now those flyers, all of them across the board, are back to the old problem where when you bank, it slips. And so what I'd really like to do at some point is get you in a platoon. I don't have to record it. I'll totally record it. I don't have to record it. You know I will. I definitely will.
You know I can hear you, right? Like, I'm right here.
No, it's not. He can't. He doesn't know nothing. Yeah. So get you in a platoon, right? Fly around in some of my old flyers, right? You can tell me why it's happening, right? If you don't know it's happening, I'm pointing out a bug and helping. And if you can explain what it is that's causing it, then I can give you my feedback and tell you why you're wrong, and it should be back to the way it was before PSKs came in. Because I really, really miss flying, and I've not really touched on it.
Flying with aerofoils, it's the type of game Robocraft is. Because the typical rules of flight, right? You got wings so you can fly.
Yep.
You fly as high up there as possible, and you drop stuff which explode when it hits the ground. That's like the base level concept of flying in real life and fighting with it. Robocraft is such a game that, God forbid you're high enough that people can see you, because now you're going to get shot down. And it doesn't follow the strict rules of physics, you may have noticed, that a box like this can fly quite effectively.
I understand a lot of the problems that you have with it, because it's one of those things, if you buff a large part, then a small tiny part will get buffed and can be exploited like these.
The point is with those aerofoils is like, so crap, then you've got usable, then you've got viable, then you've got competitive, right? Like assume that's the fourth set.
Yeah.
So long as we can get aerofoils to a point where it is usable, I think that's fine to an extent. Not everything will be competitive. Not everything will be viable, because obviously depends how you define viable anyway. But what we want is that people can use an aerofoil and be like, oh, this is fun. You know, like, this is enjoyable. I like flying around. It's just that the way they function and the way other robots function in Robocraft, it's quite difficult getting to that point. The extra connection points we gave and stuff like that went towards that, because we were like, well, if the play style of a plane isn't working, then we need to buff it as a whole. However, there are stuff coming. So I was actually talking to Mark about this the other day, about aerofoils specifically. We were talking about, for example, the fact that rotors simply go higher than aerofoils, which is part of an issue with them as a set of parts, and that's wrong, basically, like Mark was in agreement with that anyway. Another thing being, again, the speed difference between aerofoils and why not just use rotors, and tankiness and stuff like that, so there's a lot of elements to it. We'll do the platoon, without a doubt, but there's just so many kind of small elements to it that need to be considered with that sort of thing.
Yeah. No, I think it would be nice just to get you in, just so I can understand it, so that I know going forward what to build to get the max efficiency out of the kind of design I want to envisage. And then if I can't, with that information, if I still can't build the kind of flyer I want to build, then I need to pest you with feedback to try and get that into the game.
Well, this is how you use aerofoil. Okay, I'll follow your rules. This is how you use aerofoil. I'm using the aerofoil the way you said. It's still utterly unusable.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah. That's it. And one thing, I'm just gonna wrap this part. I don't know why I pointed at him. I'm gonna wrap this up very soon now, because my arm's getting a bit tired and I want to have a butty. So, but one thing before I go, which I've now almost forgotten. Yes, I just wanted to say thank you very much, FreeJam. It's been an awesome ride and adventure, and I've got to say, I have never in my life encountered a game where the forum feedback and the player base has been taken so much into consideration. I don't always agree with the consensus you choose to go with. I understand the decisions that you make, and that obviously if I want the game to be exactly what I want it to be, I need to get off and make a game myself.
Unfortunately,
because that's you know, it's and I think this is what I see a lot in the forums, is people complaining about telling you, oh, you code wrong, or your game is wrong, or and not realizing, well, actually, you know what, at least they're out there doing it, and there's a hell of a lot of people that are enjoying playing it. And
it's
so
like the thing about forum feedback with us is, I think there's a lot of companies that do the whole sort of, your opinion counts. We care about the player. We like listening to feedback. We don't actually give a I don't want to comment on Blizzard because I love them. But,
it's fine. I'll be bleeping this all out.
We don't have a feedback forum for PR reasons. We have a feedback forum because there is value in gaining player feedback. Like, a lot of the time people will be like, oh, you don't listen to us, you know, on X, Y, Z topic. Typically when people say that, what they actually mean is you don't listen to me. But the concept of us not listening to players is illogical from our standpoint. Like, there's a reason we do it. We don't have to have a forum, but we actually value the input people give, because we have so many players who, the forum has players who have played for 3,000-4,000 hours. The forum has players who have just joined the game, they've joined the forum, they're like, hey, this is kind of crap, I've just started playing. The forum has so many, is that person dressed as Gloom? That's awesome. It has a light on the top as well. Sorry, I get struck easily. The forum has so many different types of people on it. Again, with the subreddit, and even with like Facebook and Twitter, you have different demographics. There is value in us, even if, like, let's be as cynical as possible, right? If we assume we only care about money and all that sort of stuff, there is still value in listening to your player base, because their feedback makes the game better overall.
Yes, you need...
Even assuming that it's nothing to do with anything else other than money.
I've said this so many times. Especially in the earlier days, one of my main gripes I had was me myself not being able to think of a way you guys could monetize better to have the money for the things you needed, like the server capacities, the R&D, the staff, you know, things like that. And I think a lot of people take for granted they're saturated in free-to-play games, and they have an expectation, and they're very happy to call something pay to win without having anything to back that up whatsoever.
I mean, it's a vague term.
Yeah,
so many things
it's an easy, it's a go-to. It's like when you're in a game and you're getting your robots served to you on a platter, and a lot of people's go-to is hacks. You know, and it's.
I got called a hacker the other day.
Did you? Yes.
I was with Cluely and some other people.
Pro
He
skills.
called me a hacker, and then he started like straight up shit talking me, and like
It's
really
the naughty words.
hardcore. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? He carried on. I was like, all right, mate, do you enjoy having your account? And he's just like, he drops out the game. I was like, no, you didn't need to do that. Just like, don't talk to people. Like, that's my number one. I've been gaming for a very long time. Like, I've been gaming for most of my life, and I've been multiplayer gaming since computers were capable of connecting to other computers. Not quite MUD level, but like 56k modem playing a MOS kind of level. And I remember joking with Invictus Rex about this once, that I don't really talk to people in games. And it's actually true. My colleagues certainly, but not other players, no matter what game I'm playing, because it's just like the pinnacle of pitiful. It's like, if you know you're good, you don't need to talk bad about someone else, right? So when people do it in Robocraft, I take it so unreasonably seriously, where it's just like, we get warnings and, not warnings, we get reports that this player's been saying this and that to this other player, and you've got screenshots and you're just like, you have to assign a warning, but you can't allow people doing stuff like that. It's just horrible for everyone. Even if it's not directed at you and you're like player number 7 and player number 1 has said something to player number 10, you see it and you're just like, oh, that's a bit crap. Sorry, small rant. Like, I'm super aggro.
It's excellent, it's excellent. Rants are awesome. and how many bleeps was that? Well, guys, I'm gonna.
Did you bleep your channel, by the way?
I
could have like avoided profanity.
Family friendly and work safe. He's excitable though. He's excitable. So it's.
You could have told me this ahead of time.
It's funny to add the bleeps in. In all fairness, I probably added in way more bleeps than he actually cussed, just to make it hilarious. Okay, so for now, I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. Make sure you like the comments, and comment, like, and of course, subscribe. So it's bye from me and from Orcun Adsoy. Am I saying that anywhere near right?
Actually, that's a good point, now that I've got video. Orcun.
Orcun.
There's an accent underneath the C that I never write it with, because it confuses the English.
But mostly, we know him as Drognin. Lovely, lovely Drognin. Thank you very much,
Thank you very much, dude.
And goodbye.
Have a good one.